Hello, YouTubers out there. This is the Boob Wasteland Show with your host, Jerry Saravia. So today there's been some interesting news in the world of television. The ABC daytime talk show, The View, which runs weekly, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to noon, and which I've talked about and discussed on this show many times. There were a couple of interesting announcements. One that seems certain is going to happen, and the other not so sure, really. The first is that one of the panelists of The View, Joy Behar, the red-headed comedian who looks an awful lot like Bette Midler, she has only 5 months left on The View. Now, considering how many of you, maybe not so many really, that have said to me on this show, your comments regarding Joy Behar have been largely negative. So I don't think too many of you will be crying that she's gone. Now, I do like her, but that is neither here or there for the time being. Joy Behar is leaving at the end of the current season in August. And she said in a statement Thursday, or I should say the network said in a statement, all the best in this next chapter, and that we're thrilled we have her for the remainder of the season. Now, Joy has been on the show for 16 seasons. So she started back in 1997. And aside from Barbara Walters, those are the two that have been there the most time. And this would leave Barbara Walters, Whoopi-Goldberg, Elisabeth Hasselbeck, and Sherry Shepherd on the show. And now Behar had been hosting the Joy Behar show on HLN from 2009-2011. That show had come to an end. And thank you for those of you who thought that was a mistake, or I should say that that was not an error in judgment, which I disagree with. But again, I guess I'm sort of a mini Behar fan to some degree. And she currently hosts Joy Behar Say Anything on Current TV, which debuted last year. Now, that show is also coming to an end, apparently, because as some of you know, Current TV is now owned by Al Jazeera. And I'm sure that plays some role in that. So Joy Behar is leaving. All right. The next bit of news, quoting anonymous sources, according to Us Weekly, and there may be some truth to this, but hard to say for sure. Elisabeth Hasselbeck is also leaving The View. Now, that's what apparently, according to these anonymous sources, market researchers found that Elisabeth Hasselbeck's political views were clashing with the audience. People did not watch the show because of Elisabeth, so they told her yesterday her contract would not be renewed. The report followed a Deadline piece which said that her future in the ABC show was unclear. Now, according to a spokesman for the show, Hasselbeck has a long-term contract, so who knows? And she's been on the show for 10 years, but clearly not as long as Joy Behar. Now, somewhere else I read which may have precipitated Joy Behar's leaving. I read that Barbara Walters is probably going to be exiting fairly soon as well. So this is really just going to leave, allegedly, Whoopi-Goldberg and only Sherry Shepherd on the show. Because if you take those three out, who do you have left? You can't just have this talk show format with only 2 women. It's designed to be with 4 women. So I really don't know what to believe. I guess we'll find out on Monday for sure, unless Elisabeth Hasselbeck makes some sort of statement. It would probably be on Monday. But it's not even so much an exit for Hasselbeck as much as she's being fired from The View. But that is, again, anonymous sources according to Us Weekly. So you take that with a grain of salt. Joy Behar seemed to be interesting, but again, it may be because Barbara Walters might be leaving herself. So I guess we'll see. There have been rumors of this for a long time. This is not the first time, but this is official that Joy is leaving. It's not even just a rumor anymore. Elisabeth is an interesting case. It's funny, to me, the show, whether you like it or not, love it or hate it, it's still kind of an iconic show. I mean, these four women, you can't imagine really anyone else there. I mean, without Rosie O'Donnell there and some of the other hosts that had been there in the past, uh, it makes the show, these four women. So to lose one or the other, you're destroying something in there. It kind of fits. I mean, Whoopi is the leftist. You know, Joy Behar is a leftist but a comedian. So you got two comedians, and Sherry Shepherd is a comedian, and in between is Elisabeth Hasselbeck. Um, and then you got Barbara Walters, who's neutral politically, and Hasselbeck being the Republican, the right winger. I'm not really. I don't know if I would like to see if that's really true though. That the market researchers claimed that there were people not watching the show because of Elizabeth. That's I shouldn't say that's shocking to me, but politically she hasn't even expressed a whole lot of views in the last few months. If you think about it, not even compared to back in the day with Rosie O'Donnell. We all remember that from 2007, and then prior to Obama winning the presidential seat in 2009, she was all, you know, she had her shirt, the real McCain and all this stuff, the real Americain, whatever it was called, but she was on McCain's side and put down, you know, Barack Obama over and over again, criticizing him for one thing after another, but of course everybody was doing that, it wasn't just her. So um, we'll see what happens. But I think, you know, if you leave Joy Behar out, it's going to feel like there's an emptiness. I know some people I've read in the message boards don't really like the show. They don't like Joy Behar. I've read more negative criticisms about Joy Behar in general than I have about Elisabeth Hasselbeck. Elisabeth Hasselbeck is a, you know, The Bachelor fan, and she talks about that endlessly, and American Idol, and she defends Justin Bieber 100%. So hey, you know, to each their own. But is that what I mean? Is that what the market research showed? Was, you know, her political views were the reason? She doesn't even express them that often. And as I said before, I think she is politically naive. I even consider myself politically naive, but she's even more so. So what does that say? I don't know. So there you have it. So that's the news. So I guess Monday we'll find out what they say, and I'll come back and comment on that. And I keep watching The View anyway, so I don't know what it is about that show. I enjoy it. I refuse to watch Fridays. I've discussed that before because it's taped. So unless it's a, you know, the president on there, where of course it's pre-taped, or you know, Dick Cheney or whoever, you know. But anyway, this is the Boob Wasteland Show with your host Jerry Saravia, signing off.